It's 10 a.m. on Wednesday, December the 18th, 2024, and we are live here on YouTube. Welcome to the Brickhouse channel. Brickhouse here. Just some random things today. Don't really have a plan. Of course, I never really have a plan. This is all shoot from the hip, run and gun. Whatever comes to mind, whatever piques my interest. Hopefully it interests you. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's having a good week so far. And I'm enjoying the weather right now here in Florida. Even though it is the Christmas season, do miss the family back home in Illinois. Don't miss the weather. Don't miss the weather at all. So it's getting weird out there, folks. Ever since the election back at the beginning of November 5th, and ever since Trump has become president-elect, he hasn't officially taken office yet, but it's been weird. It's been crazy. I mean, you got John Fetterman. Who would have guessed? John Fetterman is a voice of reason in the Senate. Would have never guessed it. You got some people making sense in the city of Chicago. You got President-elect Trump talking about annexing Canada. For Canada to become the 51st state and make little Justin Trudeau the governor of Canada. Of course, he's got his own problems. He's got a full-on revolt up there in Canada right now. You got stuff going on at Disney, of all places. Somebody at Disney has a brain. We'll get into that. Oh, and yesterday, if you didn't see it, a new trailer dropped for Karate Kid Legends, which I did a video about it yesterday. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to, play it again here live. Give you my thoughts, my opinion. But where should we begin? I guess we begin with the craziness going on in government right now. This is mind-blowing. U.S. Senator John Fetterman. I believe that it's appropriate and the responsibility of a U.S. Senator to have a conversation with President-elect Trump's nominees. That's why I met with Elise Stefanik and Pete Hegseth. Just wrapped up with Tulsi Gabbard. Look forward to my meetings with others soon. My votes will come from an open-minded and informed opinion after having a conversation with them. That's not controversial. It's my job. I did not have this on my 2024 bingo card. I mean, going into 2020, I was like, hey, let's have Biden and Fetterman be the ticket. Because neither one of them have a brain. Well, to my surprise, now, I'm not saying he's going to vote for President-elect Trump's nominees. I mean, when push comes to shove, he's probably going to toe the line because that's what Democrats do. They toe the line. But if he were to come out and vote for President Trump's nominees, I think some heads would explode in Washington. I mean, it's about time that senators who we elect, by the way, to represent us in Congress, as well as persons, congressmen, congresswomen, who, by the way, we elect to represent us, we the people, they don't seem too interested in we the people anymore. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But what do you guys think about this whole John Fetterman thing? I mean, wow. and he's getting some backlash, needless to say. I'll never vote for you again, says the person with a bunch of emojis in their username on X. Thank you for being reasonable and rational. Yeah. We must all eat crow over you, Fetterman, loving the new you. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, yeah, he's saying the right things, but would he actually vote to confirm the nominees that Trump has put out there? RFK Jr., Tulsi, Pete Hegseth, Elise Stefanik, just to name a few. Kash Patel. Would he actually break ranks with the Democrats and vote yes on all these people? That is where the rubber meets the road. This meme's a good one. Stop asking how much people like this should be taxed. Start asking why these people waste so much tax money. Yeah, go Doge. Go Elon. Go Vivek. Or Vivek. January is coming. I love that. Being the smartest Democrat in Congress. It's so easy, even a caveman can do it. Oh my gosh. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. My favorite Democrat. We won't agree on most, but we can civilly discuss. And the thing of it is, if they wouldn't have ran Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania, Fetterman wouldn't have won. I forget the lady's name. She's retired military, has an excellent background. The Republicans didn't like her because she was America first. She was MAGA. And that's why they put Dr. Oz up there, who was a horrible candidate, by the way. If every senator or politician, for that matter, would take their job as seriously as you appear to, this country would not be in the mess it's in today. We may not be on the same team, but I respect the hell out of your words and actions since you were sworn in. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Fetterman supporter by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah. Careful, you're beginning to sound reasonable. The Democrat Party may come after you. Oh, they will. See, the Democrats have this habit of, you toe the line or else. And if you don't toe the line, we're going to do everything we can to cancel you. I mean, it happens on the right too, but not to the extent that the left does. Because the left will send the media after him and try to trash him. And quite honestly, that's the reason why a lot of people have broken ranks from the Democrats. Because of what the Democrat Party itself does, as well as their accomplices in the mainstream legacy media, which, by the way, is holding on for dear life to still be relevant. Another example. This was in Chicago. Deep blue Chicago, my home state of Illinois. The only reason why Illinois votes blue every year now, in every election, is because of Chicago. If you look at the electoral map, and you could say this for most states that vote blue, they'll have a large city that votes blue and the rest of the state votes red. And when you think of it, it's done by design. They want everybody to be lumped into cities. I mean, I moved from the 116th largest media market 2 years ago down here to the 16th largest media market. And yeah, it was a culture shock. There's still things a year later that I'm not used to down here. One being the traffic. But let's get to the Chicago thing. So I'm going to play this for you guys. And this is an instance of the possibility that, you know what? We, and I don't mean Republicans, I mean conservatives, I mean libertarians, I mean the America First movement may just be winning. The pendulum may be swinging back. So here we go.
Spent over $574 million on illegal immigrants here in Chicago, Illinois since 2022. Now, you still feel like you have to harbor these illegals, which is not a good idea. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to challenge Tom Homan on this because he's trying to clean up our cities, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Now, let me just remind everybody here that Brandon Johnson is terrible with the budget. How is this $40 million credit line is gonna work exactly? Because the key word is credit. So how much will we be using from this $40 million? And the real question is, how much will we be paying back? Now, you wanna sit here, you and JB Pritzker wanna puff out your chest and fight Tom Homan. We need Tom Homan here in Chicago. We need Donald Trump. And I don't want to see people like Pam Bundy and Kash Patel, you know, haul you up out of here and become prosecuted. I don't wanna see that happen. But they will do their job if they have to, Brandon Johnson. Now, we are $1 billion in debt. That's absolutely insane. Kamala Harris, she spent $1 billion on her campaign less than a year, and she's $20 million in debt. So it's looking like Democrats are bad with money. Now, you ignored me for 10 to 15 seconds last time I was speaking, and I really did not appreciate that at all. But I got a Christmas present for you. Let's remind the people of Chicago that Brandon Johnson spent $32,000 in campaign funds on haircuts and makeup. So,
Whoa. Haircuts and makeup? What does he need to spend $32,000 for on haircuts and makeup? Can somebody answer me that? I mean, is that a thing for mayors now? To have an exorbitant budget for haircuts and makeup? I mean, I've watched some videos on Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard down in Dalton. She's done the same thing. Dalton's a suburb of Chicago, by the way. But I can't imagine spending $32,000 for haircuts and makeup. I mean, I used to spend $30 on haircuts till COVID. Then I bought a pair of clippers and I cut my own hair. Of course, my hair is real easy to cut. Those of you that have seen my videos, you know my hair is pretty easy to cut. I ain't got much left. I'm not afraid to say it either. That's why a lot of times you see me wearing a hat. So back to the video.
Oh, I got an early Christmas present for you, Brandon Johnson. This is some makeup for you right here. You got some rouge. You got the makeup brush right there. So you can save this people some money, for crying out loud.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody bring makeup to a city council meeting to present it to a mayor. Oh, that's priceless.
Now, let me tell you people, I'm going to be serious here. We need to start voting different in these cities like New York and Chicago. Stop voting these people in. It's not Democrat versus Republican anymore. It is populist versus establishment.
That is 100% correct. It's not D versus R. Because, newsflash, a lot of the D's and the R's were cut from the same cloth. They're interested in the same thing. They're interested in protecting their power. They're interested in staying in power. They're not interested in representing the people like they were elected to and sent to Washington, or in this case, the Chicago City Council, or the State House. A lot of them are cut from the same cloth. One of those examples would be Lindsey Graham out of South Carolina. Lindsey Graham, he's famous for, which way is the wind blowing? Which way? Okay. Wind's blowing. Okay, that's what I'm going to support. And then 2 days later, he'll change his mind. I mean, yeah, people are allowed to change your mind. People are allowed to evolve. People are allowed to look at something differently over time and have a different opinion. But there's too many politicians that their support goes with the way the wind blows.
It is the populace versus the establishment. Stop letting them trick you into the race baiting when it comes to Brandon Johnson. Oh, black people need help too. Trump wanna hurt black people. What are you talking about? We're legal here.
Yeah. What was the unemployment rate for the black population prior to Trump coming into office in 2016? What was the unemployment rate for the black population when he left office in 2020? What? I don't have the numbers in front of me, but didn't salaries increase for the black community under President Trump? But yet they still go back to the well time and time again saying, oh, he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's a misogynist, he's a homophobe, he's a transphobe, he's this, he's that. When in all actuality, he just treats everybody the same, regardless of their gender, their race, their color, their creed. And that's essentially what this gentleman here is saying.
We are legal. Now, I'm trying to be nice about this. And Mr. Brandon Johnson, I do respect you in a little bit of way because you're trying the best that you can. I really want to believe that. But listen, man, you got a 14% approval rating. So the people is looking like they're telling you that you're fired, man. So I'm just humbly asking you, Brandon Johnson, to please come up with something that's reasonable by the end of this year, because I don't want to see a government shutdown, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Please do your job. I don't care if you're black. Chicago needs to get rid of DEI. I don't care.
Yes. More and more companies are doing away with their DEI departments because they're figuring out DEI is an inhibitor to corporate growth, or I should say company growth. It's an inhibitor to revenues brought into companies because they're not bringing in the best and brightest regardless of race, color, creed. They're bringing in people based off of quotas. And that's not a way to run a business. That's not a way to run a government. That's not a way to bring people into a university. The way to do it is based on merit, not color or nationality. I don't give a crap what color you are. Can you do the job? And can you do it effectively? Can you do it well? Are you trainable? Can you learn?
If you're black, can you do the job? Can you do the job, Mr. Brandon Johnson? And it's looking like you can't do the job. So please don't fail us.
Thank you very much for your.
I think Brandon Johnson was the head of CPS, Chicago Public Schools. I think that's where he was at before he got elected mayor. I mean, I didn't think it would get worse than what's her name? I always called her Beetlejuice because she looked like Beetlejuice. Or she looked like Beetlejuice's sidekicks. God, her name escapes me. Let's look up. Mayor of Chicago. Lori Lightfoot. That's who it was. Lori Lightfoot. I didn't think it could get any worse in Chicago than what Lori Lightfoot did to the city, but under Brandon Johnson, it's gotten worse. Chicago, like New York, like Los Angeles, like most of these large cities that are run by Democrats, they become shitholes. And until the people wake up and realize that, hey, we keep electing the same types of people over and over again. It ain't ever going to change. Look at San Francisco. It's a shithole. I've been to San Francisco once. I drove through downtown San Francisco. It was a shithole. So yeah, it's, that person there, he is right on the money. He's right on target. And what it's going to take is more people like that to rise up and step up and have a voice and call out the BS. Now, is he going to convince everybody? No, because some people are too set in their ways. Some people don't want to open their eyes. And some people, it's going to take longer for them to open their eyes. But we need more of that being out there. That's kind of the reason why I started this channel, was to be another voice, lend another voice. I never thought I would lend another voice, at least on the political side of things. But I started this channel because of a live stream that I was watching during COVID that I just had stumbled across. And I'm going to say, I started this because of Nerdrotic, Gary. Because I was watching one of his live streams and he was talking about how he started his YouTube channel, started a podcast. How anybody could do this. It just takes a camera and a microphone. I'm like, you know what? I can do this too. Now, am I really good at it? No, I'm not really good at it. I'm not smooth. I don't have a staff of people behind me. I don't have a producer. I do this all on my own. I do my own editing. What little editing I do know how to do. I make some of the probably crappiest thumbnails out there, but you know what? I'll get better over time. I've only been doing this for a couple of years. Should have been doing this a lot longer. But that's on me. But same time, you're never too late. Never too late to start something new. What else we got here? Let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. Talk about lawfare. Biden paid Reuters $300 million for targeting Elon's companies. The Biden administration gave $300 million in government contracts to Reuters while 11 federal agencies investigated Elon's businesses, including Tesla, SpaceX, X. During this time, Reuters received millions from these agencies and won a Pulitzer Prize for reporting on the misconduct at Elon's companies. This means taxpayer dollars funded media attacks on Elon. It's a coordinated effort to undermine one of America's most innovative leaders. Elon keeps building, they keep scheming, they keep trying to tear him down. So this isn't a surprise. I mean, look what they did to Donald Trump with the lawfare on him. I mean, he's still got 34 convictions because Judge Mershon refuses to abide by the Supreme Court ruling. Presidential acts means he's immune from prosecution. And Judge Mershon's like, you know what, Supreme Court? He's giving him the finger, saying, nope, doesn't apply here. So, and they talk about, how Trump is gonna go after his political enemies, and how Trump is gonna take NBC off the air and CNN off the air, and he's gonna use the full force of the government against his enemies. Well, isn't that what Joe Biden's been doing for the last 4 years? For those of you that don't know, that's called Alinsky tactics. Accuse your opponent of what you yourself are doing. Nothing to see here. We're not doing anything. They're the ones that are going to do it. We got another story here. Detroit police shut down a gas station after a clerk shot a man who robbed the store. Democrats are now defending the criminal who stole and are calling to shut down the gas station for good. See, this is the other problem we have in society right now. Up is down, down is up. Inside is out, outside is in. I mean, didn't the Daniel Penny case shine a light on what's really going on in society? I mean, Daniel Penny is a hero. He saved more people on that subway because of his actions to try to calm a situation. But yeah, he's the criminal because he stepped in and choked a guy out. The gentleman subsequently passed away. But again, all they're trying to do is keep good Samaritans from stepping in situations that there could be some harm done to innocent bystanders. So let's check this out real quick here.
When we want now. Today, now. Thank you. Make a hole.
An employee of this business over an incident that appears to be shoplifting came from behind the glass outside and began discharging a firearm at an individual whom they suspected of shoplifting. Those actions, putting this community in danger, is not okay. It is not acceptable.
It's despicable. It's inhumane what has happened here. And this is one of the second incidents that has occurred at this location. And I'm hoping that this gas station will be closed permanently.
What? So let me get this straight. Person walks into the gas station, robbing the gas station. An employee of the gas station, we'll just say, because we're on YouTube here, so I got to watch what I say. Diffuses the situation. So it's not the criminal's fault that they walked in and tried to rob the gas station. It's the employee's fault of the gas station for protecting the gas station and preventing it from being robbed. They're the problem, so the gas station should be shut down. What kind of effing clown world bullshit is this?
With a capital P. Because to chase someone down and shoot at them because allegedly they stole something, I understand it was a bag of chips. Whatever it was. His life was worth more than $1. It couldn't have cost more than $1.
They could have replaced that. Come on, you have to value life more than that. And until we continue to get the type of respect in our community that we deserve, we're going to shut them down.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Until we get the kind of respect in our community that we deserve? No. It don't matter what that person was stealing. It's still stealing. It's still theft. No wonder why Detroit's become a shithole. It's because of that. let's switch gears for a second here. I want to talk about President Trump or President-elect Trump. This is he is on fire right now over on Truth Social. You know, he had little Justin Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago, was about a week ago or over the weekend. And oh, this is great. No one can answer why we subsidize Canada to the tune of over $100 million a year. Makes no sense. Many Canadians want Canada to become the 51st state. They would save massively on taxes and military protection. I think it's a great idea. 51st state. Oh, yes. Liz Cheney's in a little bit of hot water over her J6 committee. They need to get after Adam Kinzinger, too, by the way. Liz Cheney could be in a lot of trouble based on the evidence obtained by the subcommittee, which states that numerous federal laws were likely broken by Liz Cheney, and those violations should be investigated by the FBI. Thank you to Congressman Barry Loudermilk on A Job Well Done, Newsmax by Greg Kelly. For those of you that don't know, Liz Cheney is in a little bit of hot water, as she should be. House report recommends FBI investigation into Liz Cheney over alleged witness tampering while on J6 committee. By the way, you know, the J6 committee destroyed most of the documents that they used as evidence against Donald Trump in this trumped up committee. And she's already threatening people that have come after her that, you know, they'll be hell to pay if you come after me. Nobody is scared of the Cheneys anymore. There was probably a time when people were scared of the Cheneys. Nobody's scared of the Cheneys anymore, especially Liz Cheney. What's she going to do, run to her daddy? Darth Vader himself. New report released Tuesday from Representative Barry Loudermilk and the House Administration Subcommittee on Oversight states that former Wyoming Congressman Liz Cheney should be investigated for possible criminal activity stemming from her work on the House Select Committee on J6. She's accused of colluding with witness Cassidy Hutchinson, oh, go figure, who testified before the committee and was an aide to Mark Meadows, chief of staff. We're going to skip down here to the juicy details. Hutchinson was a witness before the J6 committee. She claimed that when then President Donald Trump was leaving the Stop the Steal rally at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. following a speech, he attempted to grab the steering wheel of the car that was driving him back to the White House. The testimony was debunked in March of 2024 by the Secret Service agent who was driving the car, which Hutchinson was not actually in. But they took her word for it anyway. The agent said, I did not see him reach. He never grabbed the steering wheel. I didn't see him, lunge to try to get into the front seat at all. You know what stood out was the irritation in his voice more than his physical presence. That agent said that Trump was pushing pretty hard to go to the Capitol, but did not corroborate Hutchinson's claim that he lunged for the wheel. So yeah, those people that are awake and been seeing this stuff understand that the J6 committee was nothing but a sham investigation. And yeah, they should go after Liz Cheney. Right now, they're in the House. They're talking about passing a continuing resolution to fund the government because the government's going to run out of money this Friday. So they've got this 1,500-page bill that they're telling everybody they need to vote on in the next couple of days. And Donald Trump weighed in on this. To all Senate Republicans, no deal with Democrats to fast-track nominations at the end of this Congress. I won the biggest mandate. Okay, that's on that's on a separate issue, which is basically Joe Biden and his administration is trying to fast-track nominations into the government through the end of the year. But there was a story, and I gotta find it here, about don't remember where it's at. Oh, here it is. The CR Omnibus also expands the Pandemic and All Hazard Preparedness and Response Act. This allows for vaccine and mask mandates, vaccine passports, international emergency powers, gain of function research. It also created BARDA, the agencies responsible for mRNA and GOF research. Here it is right here. Congress is attempting to pass a 1,500-page spending boondoggle just hours before they're set to go home for Christmas break. Republicans must kill this bill or we shut down the government. It's not up for debate. MTG's
well,
talking about it
it's
here.
really turning into, it's not a CR, which is a continuation of the budget. It's turning into an omnibus, is what it sounds like to me, where they're packing in, everybody's packing in what they want here and there, and using the pressure and the situation of the government shutdown. Of course, tragically, farmers are being dangled. Americans that suffered through natural disasters, they're being dangled with disaster relief. And I think that's incredibly unfair. And you know, think about it like this: if this is going to turn into a 3-month omnibus, basically, then why aren't we doing the heavy lifting on, you know, the upcoming debt ceiling situations that we have to deal with in March, government funding? But no, and we don't have any bill text. I have no idea what's in the CR except just basic things that we were told in there. And then reading often you guys' X accounts, because somehow y'all magically know things oftentimes more quicker than I do. But reality is there is no CR text out yet. We don't know what's in it. And
you know, that reminds me of Nancy Pelosi before Obamacare was passed, about how, well, we have to vote for the bill before we can read what's in it. We have to pass it before you can read what's in it. We got to vote on it and pass it before we know the details, which is not how our government's supposed to work. Read the bill first, then make your judgment to vote for it, yay or nay, after you have read it. See, the problem is they put these big 1,500-page monstrosities that cram every little thing they can into it, and then say, you have 2 days. This is why I say people in Washington that are elected to go to Washington to represent us, we the people, don't actually represent us, we the people. They represent their own self-interests.
here we are. What is today? Tuesday? Yeah. Okay. So that's it.
What is the mood of the conference? I mean, obviously you have been critical of Speaker Johnson in the past, but you seem to have, given him a little bit grace here since somebody else was running against him. What are your sort of thoughts on how he's handled the situation?
Well, I haven't been in any of the conversations on building the CR out, so I haven't been involved in that process. So I can't criticize not being in the room. I mean, that's fair. But here we are today on Tuesday. We haven't seen any bill text. We're supposed to fly out on Thursday. We've had a long time to deal with it. So it's the same, basically same pattern of behavior.
It's the same old BS out of Washington, is what it is. Same old BS out of Washington. So here's some of the things that are in this supposed to be continuing resolution. Ukraine, another $60 billion for defense and economic aid. Israel, another $10.5 billion for defense systems and support. Taiwan, $2.3 billion for defense financing. Egypt, $3.3 billion with conditions related to human rights. Jordan, $1.65 billion for economic support and military grants. I have an idea. Some people will flame me for this, especially because of Israel. Start spending the money we don't have for stuff within the United States. Or better yet, shut the government down. Now, I'm going to take the stance of an individual I used to listen to on radio and admired quite a bit, and that is the one and only Rush Limbaugh, who time and time again, whenever there came a time when the government might shut down, he would always say, good, shut it down. That's fine. Knowing full well that the Republicans would get blamed by those on the left and their accomplices in the mainstream media. That grandma's gonna have to eat dog food and peanut butter because the government shut down. The best thing that can happen is the government shuts down for a few days, a week, a couple weeks. Because that means they're not spending any money that we don't have. Nick Sorter points out, and I've pointed this out even earlier in this video, first, that'd require putting leaders in charge that actually care about our country over themselves. Yeah, it is insane that the way we fund the government is giant books of information that no one reads. We should stop doing that. Like, duh. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to do that? Oh, what else we got here? I'm just looking for some random stuff. I'm on fire this morning. Oh, there's rumors out there of Tim Pool selling Timcast to the Daily Wire. In fact, Laura Loomer was all over it last night as I was perusing through X and social media, wanting Tim to come out and make a statement. Well, evidently, Tim made a statement. This was posted a little bit over an hour ago. Gosh. My official statement to the rumors. Many people have been spreading rumors pertaining to the future of Timcast and our operations in West Virginia. It's an interesting question, and it really gets to the heart of how independent media operates and what we need to do in the future. When you're building something like Timcast IRL, it's not just about saying we're independent and leaving it at that. It's about creating an ecosystem that thrives on authenticity and trust. You want to grow? Sure. But you also have to be careful about how you grow. It's about making decisions that add value without compromising the integrity of what you built. I like to think of this as tending to a garden. You start with something small, plant seeds, then complement each other and watch it grow into something self-sustaining. But you also have to be mindful of what you're introducing. Some things can thrive together while others can disrupt the balance. You wouldn't plant something invasive that could choke out the rest of your garden. And you definitely wouldn't ignore pests that could cause long-term damage. It's all about nurturing what works while keeping an eye on what doesn't. And of course, like any good garden, needs a bit of diversity to really flourish. You need to add the right elements at the right time to make it more vibrant and productive. For instance, adding chickens to a garden can help fertilize the soil and control pests. It's a natural way to make everything work better together. He's always talking about chickens, Chicken City. That's something we're really excited about with Chicken City. There it is. Expanding that operation is going to be a big step forward in integrating everything we've been working on into a more cohesive system. So yes, we will add a garden to Chicken City, and we're bringing in new chickens to make it even better. Thank you. So there you go. Daily Wire, nah. Chicken City, it's expanding. There's his official statement. I got to reply to it. I mean, you know what? If he does end up doing a deal with the Daily Wire, good for him. I just hope he understands what he's getting himself into. Because yeah, I'll make no secret of it, but I am not a fan of Ben Shapiro. Never have been. He thought he was going to be the next Rush Limbaugh. He is furthest from being the next Rush Limbaugh. And there's just something about him that just I've never liked. Never liked. I would rather spend more energy following the people that I follow here on YouTube. I would rather spend more energy following a couple other individuals that I happen to find during the COVID times, and not waste my time with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. If you like him, great. If you want to support him, great. Not telling you not to. Not telling you to. That's just my opinion. Story here about 8 Republican senators might not vote for Tulsi Gabbard as DNI, but of course, those sources are anonymous. Go figure. Just like the Pete Hegseth stuff. Anonymous sources. Liz Cheney could be in a lot of trouble. I covered that a little bit based on the evidence obtained by the subcommittee, which states that numerous federal laws were broken. These violations should be investigated by the FBI. I'm sure once Kash Patel is director of the FBI, I'm sure that will be investigated. Again, this is about the CR, which is turned into an omnibus. 1,547 pages and funds the government until March 14th. Republicans are working with Democrats to fund their agenda for months after Trump takes office. Primary, every single Republican that votes for this and give us a speaker with a backbone. Yeah, exactly. Just like every senator that does not vote for one of Trump's nominees for his cabinet, primary them. It's done. It's over. Primary them. I was going to cover this story, but it turns out that the folks over at WDW Pro and That Park Place covered this story, and evidently YouTube didn't like the fact that they covered it. So I'm just going to mention this real quick right here. In fact, Gary over at Nerdrotic had posted this about this said story, and it's about Disney pulling a certain storyline from an upcoming Pixar series called Win or Lose. He says, well, how about that? When it comes to animated content for younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline. What a concept. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? So, yeah. Valiant Renegade, we completely effed up and lost money, and this is the best apology you'll get. Oh, yes. Or this one here, our stockholders informed us there would be a mass management change if we continued our corruption of the American family in such overt ways that can be recognized by the average person. We will return to being subversive like we've been ever since Walt died. Yeah, see, you have to understand when you're part of a public company like Disney, I mean, they're under a lot of fire, especially here recently with having to settle with Donald Trump, the ABC News settlement, which ABC News is owned by Disney. You had the thing out in California where Disney's having to pay employees something to the tune of $230 million in back pay or unpaid wages. These are all things that contribute to the business and how the business runs, and also it contributes to their valuation on the stock market, which means they're shareholders. And they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. And if they keep doing things because of ideology that causes revenues to drop and the stock to drop and their market cap to drop, well, that's going to make shareholders angry. And we know Bob Iger's out the door in 2026 anyway. So there has to be, in my opinion, Disney as it stands right now, it needs to be just demolished to the ground. And if it's rebuilt, it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. There's too much rot within Disney. And I'm not talking just at the top. And I'm not talking just Disney itself. I'm talking Lucasfilm. Marvel has actually made some moves to try to gut some of the rot. Take out some of the activists. Get the activists out of there. Because Marvel's realized that it's affecting their content. Even though we still have things coming out like Captain America 4. Captain America without Captain America, Brave New World. That's under an old regime. You have what's the Ironheart? That's under the old regime. That's been done now for like 4 years, and it still hasn't shown up on Disney Plus. When their bank account takes a hit, they suddenly recognize, quote unquote, the rights of parents. Wonder how that happened. And this is where it gets back to, my earlier statement about, are we winning? Because this would suggest that the pendulum is swinging back, that the people are winning. The fact that they had a TG subplot to begin with says more about Disney's initial intentions for what kids should see. I mean, if my kid's 28 years old. Now, my grandson, on the other hand, he's soon to be 3, 4. I wouldn't let my son watch, or my grandson watch, anything new from Disney. I'd let him watch the classics. The original Snow White, Dumbo, Fantasia, Beauty and the Beast, the original Lion King, the original Little Mermaid. Not this remade crap that's coming out. Not some of this other crap that's coming out on Disney Plus. If only someone told them that daily for the past 5 years. Yeah. That's, again, part of the reason why I started this channel. Because I wanted to lend another voice. Because the more people that we have that lends the voice and speaks up, then those at Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, Amazon, Sony, they might go, hey, whoa, time out, wait a second. What's going on here? People aren't liking what we're putting out. People aren't liking our content. Why is that? What's going on? Give the audience what they want. You can make something for everybody without doing stuff like this. Without having to have a young character have two moms. Or lesbian space witches. People just want good stories. People just want good character development. People don't want to be talked down to. People don't want an agenda pushed in their content to them. You know, I saw something yesterday about the finale of Yellowstone. Jack Posobiec. I've followed Jack for a few years now. I like a lot of his things that he has to say. He put something out there, and it'd take me a while to find it, that Yellowstone turned woke at the end. That it sucked all conservatives in just to push a woke agenda at the end. No, I disagree. That's not what happened. Yellowstone ended based on what was done at the end of the prequel 1883. That's how the main series Yellowstone ended. Now, the main series also ended setting up a new spin-off series for Rip and Beth at their new ranch. And it's also set up a spin-off series for the 6666 ranch down in Texas. But no, Yellowstone didn't go woke. Yellowstone ended with the way it was projected to end at the end of 1883. Now, you can agree with that. You can disagree with that. That's fine. Speaking of entertainment and content and putting out good content, I'd like to focus your attention on this. Karate Kid's Legends trailer kicks off a new chapter. It was reported a few months ago that we were going to get a new Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, and wondered how is this going to get put together? I mean, Ralph Macchio is the OG Karate Kid. He had Mr. Miyagi. Jackie Chan was in the remake Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. Will Smith had rights to the Karate Kid. That's why Jaden was in it. That's why Will is a producer of the new movie. So how are they going to bring these two things together, especially when you've got the Cobra Kai series going on, which I think part 3 of the final season is going to drop any time now. So how's this all going to mesh together? Well, trailer dropped yesterday, and man, it's refreshing to see a trailer not get ratioed into oblivion like Snow White, where if you look at this trailer's got nearly 7.5 million views, and this was released yesterday, and it's got 146,000 likes and only 1,900 dislikes, which is refreshing to see. So let's just play it here, and I'll give you my thoughts.
Our traditions are rooted in history. Kung Fu, karate. The tree grows strong.
You knew Mr. Miyagi?
I did not come looking for Sensei Miyagi. I came looking for you.
Now, here's one thing that perplexes me, because I did a video about this yesterday. If you want to check it out, check it out. Is that Jackie Chan in the remake played Mr. Miyagi. So I'm not sure how this is going to all work. Maybe they'll somehow go over that in this movie. But I like this line here where Daniel says, "Are you here? Are you looking for Mr. Miyagi?" And he said, "I'm not here for Miyagi. I'm here for you."
I came looking for you. In life, you have only one question. Is it worth fighting for it? Or not? Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi.
Now, from what this looks like it's a very similar story to the original Karate Kid, where this young boy's getting bullied and beaten up by a group of kids. That's what it looks like. Which if it is a similar story, great. I got no problem with that. I like how they're kind of bringing the two together as far as the original version and then some elements of the older version. Now the biggest question I have is, with Cobra Kai going on Netflix, how is there going to be any tie-ins to Cobra Kai? Are we going to see any cameos? Are we going to see Johnny Lawrence? That would be something for the Cobra Kai fans.
I'm doing this for all of us. Whatever it takes. Two branches.
Now, if you notice, the headband is a slightly different headband than the original headband that Daniel wore and the headband that you see in Cobra Kai. It's slightly different. It's slightly altered.
One tree.
I will say I am going to go see it when it comes out in theaters in May. This will be something I do go to the theater to see. And Jackie Chan at 70 years old is still freaking awesome. So you guys can tell me what you think of Karate Kid Legends. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to bring everything full circle. And who knows? Maybe it'll turn into another series of movies, another series of Karate Kid movies. It's entirely possible. So there you go. Let's see. Is there anything else that I want to talk about here before I end the stream? I think I've covered everything that I want to cover today. Let's do a quick look, shall we? Elon put out there, support Tulsi Gabbard for DNI. Yes, people, make your voices heard. President Trump deserves the cabinet that he picked. He has a mandate. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. Give him the cabinet he picked. These people were picked for a reason, and these people were picked to upset the system in Washington. Dismantle as much of the deep state, as much of the swamp as possible in Washington, D.C. Talking about the omnibus, the CR. We lasted 4 years with the radical government. I think we could last 32 days with the government shutdown. Yes, do the will of the people. This Liz Cheney thing's not going to go away. The House report just found that Liz Cheney coached Cassidy Hutchinson to change her testimony to the J6 committee without a lawyer present. Now we know why they deleted their communications. Yeah, imagine stealing 30% of everyone's money and being $36 trillion in debt. Yeah. Taxation is theft. I'm not afraid to say it. I would love to see Trump implement a plan where we implement tariffs on imports. That way we bring manufacturing back to this country. And don't tell me we can't bring manufacturing back to this country. We can. Abolish the income tax, abolish the IRS, go to a flat tax or go to a consumption tax. That way you don't have to fill out forms every year and submit your income. I mean, think about this. And this was something that was, I think it was 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, maybe even longer than that. But Art Laffer, economist, had put out what he called the Laffer curve. And it showed, this might have even been in the 90s, that if the federal government went to abolish the income tax and went to a flat tax or a consumption tax of 18%, meaning that everybody, and I don't want to hear this shit about the billionaires need to pay their fair share. Everybody paid 18%, either a flat tax or a consumption. I'm a proponent of consumption tax. You pay as you go. Buy a car, pay 18% tax. Buy a boat, 18% tax. Buy a house, 18% tax. Now, things like groceries, fuel, those aren't taxed. But any other goods or services, well, I shouldn't say services because you can't tax labor. Any other goods outside of groceries and fuel are taxed at 18%. No matter your income level, because working in the tax software business as I did, I was shocked at the number of people that paid zero income tax and would get refunds of $8, $10, $12, $15,000 and paid zero tax. So everybody pays 18%. Guess what happens? We actually can eat away at the deficit. Now, there's a flip side to that, and that is cut spending. End the Fed. Go back to the gold standard. That way the government, the Fed, just can't keep printing money and devaluing our currency. So you know what happens? The deficit goes down. Inflation would be almost non-existent. Our money would actually have some value, being backed by gold. Worst thing that happened was in 1971, where Richard Nixon got us off the gold standard. That's when inflation started to run rampant. It would make our money worth more. We'd have more money in our pockets to spend. And guess what happens when we spend more money? Revenues to the government go up. And if they cut spending and we shrink the size of government, the government would actually run at a surplus instead of a deficit. and you wouldn't need to submit an income tax form every April because you're paying tax as you go all year long. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. But what do I know? I'm just a guy sitting here in his office in sunny Florida on a beautiful day. I don't know anything. What am I talking about? I know nothing. I'm just ranting here on YouTube. What do I know? I'm ranting here on YouTube to a zero audience, and I expect a zero audience because I just started live streaming last week. I'm not going to beg people to come watch me. They need to come find me. And if you like what I'm saying, you like the things that I'm covering, you give me a like, give me a subscribe, comment, support the channel. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And you could agree with me. You could disagree with me. Doesn't matter. Not going to hurt my feelings. We all have opinions. You know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Some are right, some are wrong. But we need to have the discussion. We need to have the discourse. We need to have the sharing of ideas. Even if we come from different backgrounds, different whatever. We need to come together and have a sharing of ideas. That's what I'm here for. So I'm going to end it on that note. Hopefully some people out there will give this a watch all the way through. And listen, we'll do it all over tomorrow. 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can hear me rant and rave for an hour or so. And until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will see you on the flip side.